What's happening? Neal Walter here from the Guitar Tricks channel. New lesson coming for you on 2-note chords. They're really cool sounding. First off, tip of the week, memorize your fretboard. It's really handy to know the notes on your guitar, especially with this lesson I'm about to show you. But here's a way to cheat, right? You know this octave pattern? One string down, 2 frets over. So whatever notes you know here, if you just do that octave pattern, you know, oh, that's an A. Oh, that's an E. There you go. Quick tip. Oh, the week. Oh. On to our lesson of the week, 2-note chords. I'm going to be doing this thing where I'm kind of bouncing off the A string. Now, this technique can be used in any style. If I add a little distortion to this or put it in a minor key, it's going to sound totally different. If I use a different rhythm, it's going to apply to metal, rock, blues, a little Spanish style guitar if you're playing a nylon. This is really handy stuff. So the way that you find out which notes to play when you're doing 2-note chords is, with this example, I'm playing in the key of A major. So you're like, what? How do I know what chords to use? Well, if you've memorized your scales, it's really handy to know your scales for this technique. What you do is you just pick the notes out of the scale. On the D string, for instance, those are the notes I know I have in the A major scale. And on the G string, I know I have those notes to pick from. So most combinations sound good together if you're staying within the scale. So what I'm doing is I'm just going up the scale. This note's on the A, this one's on the F sharp, and then I know my next note in the scale is that one, so I'm gonna go, and I know this next note is B, so, right? And then I know the A major pattern is right there. That's a real common one, so I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna jump up one more. The next note in the scale is there, major scale, and the next one is here, so. So that's how you know what notes to choose to do these 2-note chords. Now, if this was in A minor, then I would just use the A minor scale. And that would sound, using the same rhythm, would sound like this. You can get real creative with these chord patterns. You could slow it down, and you've probably heard something like this many times. Very common chord progression, doing the A, G to F. So there's your example in using the minor scale. Now, of course, this is going to sound best with the open strings D, A, and E. So if you're going to do it in D minor, you would just pick the D minor scale to choose your chord tones. So I know I've got there. So then it would sound something like this. And you can experiment around. Once you know what notes to choose from, try flip them around. I like to take regular patterns and just kind of do this, and then just swap strings. They're still in the scale. I know what the scale notes are, so I'm not just doing totally random notes, but I like messing around with patterns like that. And then you come up with really cool sounding stuff just playing around. You can do, keep one finger here, and drop this one down the scale to the next note and keep the same pattern on top. could also pick notes higher up or lower down. If you like that song, The Zoo by the Scorpions, they're doing a similar thing on the low E string. It sounds great to throw in the higher strings, the B and E strings, especially on an acoustic guitar or 12 string. Doing the pattern I started with in A major, it sounds something like this, really cool sounding. And even with the D minor thing, throw in the E, and you get a whole different kind of chord inversions going on. So there's tons of possibilities. I'm going to show you the rhythm to the first pattern I played so that you can play along to that. And feel free to experiment around. This concept will just open up all kinds of creative doors when you're songwriting. So here's the rhythm of the first lick that I played. So if you want to play it yourself, you'll know how to do it. I'll slow it down for you. It goes like this. Key of A major. Notice how I'm lifting my fingers off to give it, to let the notes stop ringing like this. I'm also dampening with my right hand. So that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning on in. If you're not watching this on guitartricks.com, head on over there to /channel. Sign up for our newsletter and I'll send you 2 free lessons every week. So try out some of these tips, come up with some new ideas, and get some fresh guitar blood pumping in your playing. See you next week.